us with their thoughts on this special occasion.
Uh, Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Today, on behalf of whole of Bharati Vidyapeeth fraternity, I wholeheartedly welcome Ms. Renu Pushram ma'am, Assistant Professor, Mahendra University, Hyderabad, for celebrating with us today or through this webinar, the World Environmental Day. Today, on occasion of this World Environmental Day, Bharati Vidyapeeth, deemed to be University New Law College Pune, through its environmental cell, has organized this webinar on the impact of plastic on biodiversity. And today we have gathered over here to celebrate this World Environmental Day, a day which reminds us of our duty, not only about our right, but duty to protect and nurture the whole planet. And this year's theme today is Beat Plastic Pollution, which is a powerful call for action. And for us, it is also a call for responsibility. Dear all, plastic pollution is not just an environmental issue, it's a legal issue, a policy issue, and human rights issue. As students of law, we have the tools and voice to influence the change and shape the better environmental laws, advocating for stricter enforcement and holding polluters accountable. We all must understand that legal systems have the power to regulate production, manage waste, and protect natural ecosystems. It's up to us to ensure that the systems are strong, fair, and just. Let us use our knowledge not just to interpret the law, but to shape it for a greener future. Because beating plastic pollution is not just about cleanup, but it's about justice, equity, and sustainability towards not only human being, but all the animals, all the marine lives which are there in the water and are dying because of the plastics which we use and dump into the seas. Besides that, with this small introduction to Madam, let me inform you about what Bharati Vidyapeeth is. Of course, ma'am, you might have known about Bharati Vidyapeeth, but being a dean of this university, it's my humble note and duty to inform you about Bharati Vidyapeeth. Madam, Bharati Vidyapeeth is a multidisciplinary and multi-campuses university spread throughout Maharashtra and New Delhi. Bharati Vidyapeeth is known for academic excellence, and recently in 2024, we have been accredited with A++ by NAC. This all has been possible only because of our Honorable Founder Chancellor, Honorable Dr. Patanrao Kadam Saheb, who at the age of 18 years decided to establish Bharati Vidyapeeth as a distinct educational institution. Today, under the mentorship of Honorable Shivaji Rao Kadam Sir, the Chancellor of this university, Honorable Dr. Vishwajit Sir, the Pro-Vice Chancellor and Secretary of Bharati Vidyapeeth, Honorable Dr. Asmita Tai Jagtap, the Executive Director of Health Sciences, and Honorable Dr. Vivek Sauji Sir, the Vice Chancellor of this university. Law College has been consistently ranked among the top law schools in this particular country. And on the footnotes and on the particular guidance and vision of our founder chancellor, we are trying to see that we excel not only in our academics, but we excel in our social responsibilities as well. And that is the reason why through all our different cells like ADR cells, cyber cells, and environmental cell, we continuously keep on spreading awareness through not only webinars, but participating in different social activities, national activities, wherein we spread the awareness of our not only rights, but our duties and our social responsibilities towards the society, towards the mankind, towards the humankind, as well as towards the animal kind and towards the environment. And so finally today, we on this particular day are celebrating this particular concerns of world environment and saying no to plastic use. And I really appreciate the efforts taken by Dr. Jayashree Khandare, Madam, the assistant professor over here, as well the in charge as taking care of this environmental cell, who dedicatedly has seen that World Environmental Day not only begins with tree plantation today in our campus, but also ends up with enlightenment through our guest speaker, Ma'am Renu. So, without further ado, just want to say that use of plastic should be banned, but to genuineness of our human understandings, we should see that we cannot ban it, we understand, but at least we can minimize the use of plastic, and we can see and we can save the environment from getting polluted. So thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity, and all the best for all your particular concerns throughout. And over to you, Dr. Jayashree Khandare, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kitwa, next.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your fruitful words of wisdom. We are also extremely delighted to welcome our distinguished guest speaker for the day, Mrs. Renu Khushuram, ma'am, Assistant Professor at Mahindra University, Hyderabad. With a strong academic background and practical insight into the environment law, she will help us to understand the critical ways in which plastic pollution impacts the biodiversity and disrupts the ecosystem. I, Hetal Jain, have a pleasure of being your host for this session. Before we go further, I kindly request all the members to please switch on your cameras so that we can capture a virtual photograph to commemorate this insightful session.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Kitwa, we'll start.
Without further delay, I now invite Mrs. Renu Khulharam ma'am to kindly begin the session and enlighten us with.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Renu Kushram. Thank you, Ma'am Jayashree and Divya Saxena ma'am, for inviting me here. Although it was a very short notice invitation, but I'll try to justify on this topic of the today's lecture. I will start my present discussion with series of PPTs which I have made for this lecture, followed by some clips from the UN website regarding to the how the pollution which is really happening at the global level. And before beginning of this lecture, I would like to discuss that this topic, this discussion is not just a it's not a one-time solution. So I'm not presenting here with a level of solution for that, but this is what I'm going to discuss the journey. Like, what are the steps we have taken so far? What are the steps we are taking at the individual level, at the global level, at the present times? And what are the future outcomes which we can, what are the future steps which we are needed to taken, depending upon the lesson we have learned from the past and the present. And also, it's a hard reality, but we have to believe that we cannot done away with the plastic because it has now entered into the each and every aspect of our life. So that's why the theme of this topic for the World Environmental Day they have chosen is collective action to tackle plastic pollution. It's not about like ending the pollution, ending the banning the complete use of plastic, but about the collective action to tackle plastic pollution. And this collective action is more about what we are doing, not just at a global level, or not at just a global level, but how at the individual level, what are the efforts we are taking, what is the behavioral change which is happening. And for that, I will also share some case studies which I have taken from the Swachh Bharat Sarvekshan survey, where the number of states at the individual level, at the district level, at the state level has taken a lot of initiative for that. So I will start my today's discussion with my PPT, which I'm going to share in this presentation here. I hope is it visible to all of you? Is my PPT visible to all of you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Hmm. Is it now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the theme of the today's lecture, World Environmental Day 2025 is collective action to tackle plastic pollution. Now, I will be discussing about the impact. Before discussing about the topic, I will be giving you the certain theme on which I will be discussing today's topic. It is related to why this theme has been chosen. What are the different kind of plastic pollution which is happening? What are different impact on the marine diversity and land biodiversity? What is the action which has been taken at the global and the national level? And what is the impediment here in the successful implementation of these laws? Uh, so as you can see is that World Environment Day, June 5th is the largest global platform for creating environmental awareness celebrated in 150 plus countries. And impact of the reason I've chosen this topic of impact of plastics on the biodiversity for the reason that I've been working uh, in my topic area related my PhD in the Nalsar University on the biodiversity conservation. And I realized then when we talk about plastic, we are only see that what is the plastic which has been thrown out of in the road or in the dump yard or in our household. But we never bothered even to talk about the what is the level of pollution because of plastic which is happening in the Western Ghats, in the dump yard which has been created because of the dumping of a lot of plastics in the hills of the Pune city, nearby the Pune cities. So all these places across the world, if across the city, across the India, if you see that how the plastic generation, the poor implementation regarding the disposal, poor recycling process, poor waste manages has not only created a disaster for the human, but it also creating a loss to the biodiversity to a large extent. So I will be sharing here with one lecture here on. So this is how the UN has come up with this YouTube lecture on plastics use. So I'll put it here for like display.
Plastic is everywhere, from the deepest ocean trench to the top of remote mountains. It's in the water we drink, the food we eat, even the air we breathe. And now, plastic particles are found in human bloodstreams. This is the legacy of decades of unchecked plastic pollution. But this is not nature's fault. This is our doing. And now, it's time for us to undo it. World Environment Day 2025, with the theme Ending Plastic Pollution, is a call to action. Led by the United Nations Environment Programme and hosted this year by the Republic of Korea, millions around the globe are uniting under one mission: to end plastic pollution and protect our planet for future generations. 11 million tons of plastic enter our rivers, lakes, and oceans every year. Microplastics pollute the soil and disrupt biodiversity. This plastic crisis is part of a bigger challenge: the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution, and damage our health, ecosystems, and economies. But plastic pollution is not an unsolvable environmental crisis we face. With innovation, policy, and participation, change is possible. Around the world, communities are turning the tide by reducing single-use plastic and boosting recycling. In our pristine Puducherry, with its coastline and tourist activity, plastic waste happens to be a serious problem. Plastic waste is seen on beaches, roadsides, and in water bodies. During the rainy season, clogged drains cause urban flooding due to plastic. If we do not act now, Puducherry's natural beauty and biodiversity will suffer permanent damage. Plastic pollution is a problem we can solve. Governments are working toward a global treaty to end plastic pollution. The government of Puducherry has provided a list of banned single-use plastic items that are to be curbed from our daily life for the benefit of our personal health and the health of our ecosystems. Alternatively, the government, through the Puducherry Pollution Control Committee, has established a set of sustainable items alternate to the plastics that are eco-friendly. This is more than a campaign. This is a movement. Join the hashtag Beat Plastic Pollution movement. Refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, rethink, organize an event, inspire others, speak up, because when billions act, change becomes unstoppable. Our planet is drowning in plastic, but the future doesn't have to be. Let's choose a cleaner, healthier tomorrow. Let's end plastic pollution together.
Were you born between 1980 to 2000? Axis Max Life is offering customized term plans for you with 1
I'm
crore
so
life
sorry.
covers and exclusive 15% discount.
So I'll come back to the slides presentation again. Now, is it visible again, the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
So the last word they have used is apart from 4R, they have the last fifth word they've used is rethink. And that's what the discussion of the topic today is, to rethink. So we are not going to blame here what the government is trying to do, what government is not doing, what the manufacturers are not doing, what the bureaucrats are not doing. What we are going to worry about is like how at the individual level, at the society level, we are working on this thing. And I will start with my presentation here. Impact of plastic on biodiversity. Now, when you talk about plastics, there are different kind of plastic litter which is there. Now, you all are aware that plastic is basically made from the petroleum product. And so basically, plastic is a different kind of polymer which is made of the petroleum product. And petroleum product, it directly a result of the fossil fuels. So this is how we are contributing to climate carbon footprint, because the more the demand of the plastic is, the more is the demand of the extraction of the petroleum product, and more the burden on the fossil fuel, which is non-renewable again. Now, at the second end, the production end, there is an issue with the plastics, and again at the disposable end, because disposal end may be amount of carbon emitting which is happening because of processing, incineration, pyrolysis, or different process. Amount of CO2, greenhouse gas emissions, furans, number of gases which is emitting into the environment is indirectly contributing to the climate change. And that's why when we talk about that, plastics is not just about what is litter around our area. It is directly related to the climate change, because it to our aiming the target of limiting the global temperature to 2 or 1.5 degrees Celsius, controlling the reducing the use of plastic is also an important factor, because in the whole carbon output, it forms a 14 to 15% chunk of the global emission. So after that, I will start with what are the different classification of the plastic litter which is there in according to the science. So plastics, as we can see, that it's of different classificator, which is macro, meso, mega, meso, macro, and micro. But mostly the kind of plastic bottles which we see, Coca-Cola ka small bottles, plastic bottle, paper plates, all the chips, all these things, these falls under the macro debris. Now another category which is like a meso debris, which is basically we'll see is an intermediate level, which is like, can you see from the pictures also, the granules. These granules are used for making pens, plastic, all the plastic pens which you use, straw pipes and all these are the meso level pe. And the most dangerous, which is like micro level pe, these are you can see it is less than 5 millimeter in size. These are the fragmented part of the macro and meso particle. And if you have seen that sometimes in your face wash or the toothbrush, toothpaste, the smallest kind of particles which you see, these are the example of microplastic. So when you think that you are now not inhaling any kind of plastic, it is impossible, because from the tiny granules to like crisp, that sparkling which is given, which the companies are saying that it will give your tooth, All these are made of a microplastic. So from kind of milk you are using, the plastics bag which you are using from the milk at the macro level, to the toothpaste you are using, the face wash you are using, the different creams which you're using, all are directly linked to our daily use of plastics. Now, when we consume all these things, we think we only believe that once we recycle the plastic bottles, Coca-Cola, we put in a dustbin and it will be recycled, the issue has been solved. But this is not the actual reality. We hardly talks about the plastic at the micro level and the meso level. And I think when all of the audience here and the discussion here, we also thinks about using the plastics or reducing the use of plastic, we only go by the scenario that, okay, I have stopped using plastic bottles, I have stopped using plastic tiffins, I will use a steel dabba, but or I will stop using the plastic bags. But no ever we think about that, are we really contribute, like are we also thinking about micro mesoparticles also? So that's why our concept is like rethink to understand the what is a different kind of plastic which is there, and to work accordingly uh, to try to change your behavior and lifestyle accordingly to that understanding of your science and the law. Now these particles when you talked about, when we use this micro macro mesoparticles, most of the time these we think that recycling is an also option, that when we recycle these things, they will go into the environment, they will be available for reuse of the purpose and for the production of another material. But this is not how the things work, because recycling of the plastic can also be harmful for that. I will discuss this on the next series PPTs. So after that, I would like to discuss that what are the different plastics across the industry which is contributing to the plastic generation at the mass level. So I would like to ask this question to all of you also, that when you talk about plastics causing plastic pollution causing industry, what are the different kind of industry which comes to your mind?
Cosmetic industries.
Yes, cosmetics industry, micro level pit is all. Health sector is major of all those things. And the balloons which you're using per parties, paper bags, your plastic bag you're using, all the canteen mein the chips of plastic lays ka chips se leke all the fruity packets, water bottles. When you're going to the restaurant, when I simply order for the order, we never think about asking them for giving us a filter water. We will simply, they will give us a fridge plastic bottle, we try to consume it. So indirectly we never bothered that, okay, it's just a 20 rupees, why it really matters of paying for 20 rupees. But nowhere thought that this one bottle will took number of years to get even actually get disposed. It will not get disposed, of course, it's not a biodegradable, but like of course you're contributing to this form. So from like there are two categories which I put it here is, first is unsustainable use, which is morely common across the industries, is like single use packaging like bags, straw, wrappers and all these things. Second is fast fashion industries, and it consists of synthetic textile, the different kind of cloth material which is producing from these things, to your day-to-day consumable items, like from the beginning of starting your day, from buying the milk a packet to the ending of your day with the ice cream or any of the Lay's chips and everything, even buying the vegetable from the market. All these are parts of your day-to-day life. Second is the fast fashion. Now fast fashion again, all these things which the clothes you're wearing, like we have the habit of buying a lot of clothes and going for shopping and everything. We think that it will get decomposed after some times, but have you ever seen that what actually happened with all these clothes, all these chappals and all these jeans? How is going to decompose in the environment? It is not. That was one of the reason is that when the fast fashion industries means that all the Zudio, Reliance Trend, West Side, the culture you're seeing of buying and use and throw, we see that, okay, the fashion is gone, then we'll shift to new clothes. But no, when the fashion is gone, maybe for the for you, we as a the kind of culture we follow is like consumerist culture, but it is going to be there in the environment for a long time. Similarly, disposable medical supplies, automated part with the non-cyclical companies, all the tires se leke everything, the spare parts of these things, these all are the unsustainable use. So I have just limited it to the few categories, but when you talk about plastics, everything comes to your mind that you are living in the plastics and you are surrounded by the plastic from all over 24 hours. Now you can see here is, if you have you ordered a cup of chai with a juice, we'll see that we'll end up ordering that bhaiya isme de do, and they will give it the disposable box, the cosmetics brushes we are going to use. I'm sure of we all have this big chunk of cosmetics products, everything, and how much plastic we are generating. So this is how the fast fashion industry is actually working on the canteen wala area where the people are working. Now the second topic is how plastics impact biodiversity. Now, because majority of the people also here belongs to the Maharashtra, so I want to understand, if I wanted to like know your perspective about the level of pollution because of plastic. If you have seen that how the Western Ghats around the Pune has impacted because of the plastic. So if you have any case study, that I would like to hear it, and like I would like you to share with the all other audience here. Any one of you? Jayashree ma'am, would you like to share your experience with the plastics and the, how it has affected the topography of the plastics around the Pune city?
To explain, madam, because all we know the consequences of this use of plastic. So nothing to say.
Okay, okay. So, uh, so biodiversity, when we talk about plastic impacting the biodiversity, I will show you one small clipping here. This is Mhm. Okay, I cannot show. So this is one picture. If you have heard recently that Kasol, which is one of the major tourist spot, we lot of tourists go everywhere. It's popular among the youth for Kasol, Manali, and all these area. And we never think about that if the mass population is going in such a level there, number of all the resorts are fully booked, all the cafes are fully booked, number of the number of visitors has increased in the month of summer, or like in the December also. They will be generating a lot of waste also, especially the plastics. How it going to get properly disposed? For the reason that topography of the Kasol or Western Ghat is not like a plain area where you can open a dump yard and put this thing. It's surrounded by the valleys or the riverside. So automatically municipal and the local administration, they need to find out certain way to clear that dump yard, to create the garbage from the main city, and they have to find some other place. So we'll see that how the today's India today has discovered that how the Valley has become a dump yard of the all the garbage.
In the heart of Himachal's Parvati Valley, a paradise now choking under mountains of filth. 8 months of garbage dumped, not managed, not treated, just buried in the wild. Kasol, a tourist hub, now a symbol of neglect. Waste from homes, hotels, and streets has been heaped into the forests of a wildlife sanctuary. Exposed by a viral video that stunned the nation. Days on, India Today team reached Kasol and did a ground reality check to find out what the authorities are doing about the pile of Himalayan garbage.
बिल्कुल पार्वती वैली के बीचों बीच कूड़े का ढेर लगा हुआ है और इतनी स्मेल यहाँ पर है इस समय कि आप यहाँ पर खड़ा होना भी मुश्किल है। जानवर आप देखिए किस तरीके से यहाँ पर कोई जिंदा है, कोई मरा हुआ है जानवर भी।
So this was something, just a glimpse of what is actually happening uh, at the national level about how we are taking care of the environment. For sure, places around the Mumbai, Pune, you have seen the Versova beach also, it's full of dump yard all the time. So it's just not it's just a one situation, but things are similar more or levels across this part of the India. So it could be the Western Ghat or the Eastern Ghat in the North India. It's all now, it's a peak time where everything is becoming a dump yard of the plastics. Now, when we talk about that, how the plastics impact the biodiversity, I will give you the example of the marine diversity first. The corals, how the corals is greatly impacted because of the plastics use. So when you talks about that, we have seen a lot of times, if you've gone to the beach or riverside, you have seen that a lot of plastics has been put into disposal in the side of the river or to the beach side. But believing that rivers will, when there a flood will come or whether excess rain will happen, it will carry away all the water it will carry away all the cleanage or dump yard which is there at the side of the river to the sea or ocean. But we never think about what after that, what is going to happen after that. And this is what is happening, that marine biodiversity, when you're putting so a lot of dump yard in the ocean water, in the river itself, it is actually creating impacting aquatic life to an extent that it is going inside their digestive system, in respiratory system. It is choking their body respiratory system to an extent that it ultimately end up causing accumulation of toxin and impair their health system. Similarly, when all the fishes and all the marine ecosystem which are a part of our food supply chain also, these are also indirectly becoming a part of our food supply only. For the reason then, when these kind of microplastics are being inhaled by the fish, crabs and all these things, we are indirectly consuming this only. So everything is coming back to us only, be it a biodiversity or something. Similarly, microplastic disrupts the food chain, it impairing the health system, as I told you. A lot of times you've seen that, turtles or the crabs, a lot of plastics nets, which is sometimes the fishermen going for the fishing, they end up leaving the fishing net in the rivers. Or sometimes, so, a lot of times in the coastal area, ocean or the backwaters become a dump yard of the all their plastic disposal. So now these places has become a kind of a dark kind of area where all the marine ecosystem or the marine organism is either not existing at all, or it in such a pathetic condition that it can create a health disaster. So for example, a lot of time you've seen that sea turtle has been gripped by the fishing net, for the reason that it is indirectly affecting the movement of this turtle. So similarly, when you talk about land ecosystem, so as I'm giving you this small glimpse of the Kasolka study, that how this has become a dump yard of the lot of plastic which has been generated. But the questions comes to that, should we stop using the plastic, or should we focus on recycling, or what are the challenges? Because we have with number of legislation here. So what is the problem? That is it just about individual level, or at the global level, the effort should be required. So we always we always think about that, recycling of the plastic can only be the solution. But solution is not just recycling. As I discussed with you in the beginning only, the production itself, because it is producing from the fossil fuels, production itself is causing a major impact to the environment. And if you can see the data here, plastic production impacts Plastics are 99% fossil fuel based. Its emission from plastics had, it increased by 4.3 million ton by 2050. Ocean pollution effect and how it's affecting the resilience of the ecosystem. So we have discussed that how it is impacting the biodiversity through data and some glimpse of the picture. And one of the data which I collected from UN, and it would be shocking to hear that more than 400 million ton of plastic produced every year, half of which is only the 10% of which is actually decomposed. And if you're talking about more than 400 million ton of plastic which is produced everywhere, this means it is equal to 40,000 Eiffel Towers ka weight. And similarly, when you're talking about amount of fossils, amount of plastic which is dumping in the sea, lakes and rivers, then it is around 11 million ton, which is again equal to the weight of 2,000 Eiffel Tower. So this is the level of pollution which is causing because of our consumption use on the biodiversity level, at the marine level or at the land level. Now we have different legislations which talking about pollution, which we have the Water Act, Air Act, Environment Protection Act, Wildlife Protection Act. Under the EP Act 1986, Section 3 talks about giving the power to the central government to frame the rules regarding dealing with a particular area, of course, a subject area where the pollution is actually happening. So deriving the power under this thing, government over the period of time, depending upon the situation arises, they have come up with a number of legislation. And I'm presenting you here the timeline of the different plastic waste management rules in India. Now, as the consumeristic culture has been changing, how with the globalization, the demands has been changing, how we have moved from buying taking the thellas to the shop to now ordering from Blinkit to ordering to Zomato. As per the times and situation changes, government is also coming with a lot of legislation for that thing. Similar, on the basis of that, you can see here, there is a timeline of plastic waste management rules in India. It started with 1998, then recycle plastic, 1999 rule was there, then 2003 rules was there. Another draft which we came in 2009. Another draft, another rules was plastic waste management and handling 2011. Further amendment, plastic waste management rule 2006, 2018, then 2091. And then we keep on amending the lot of rules here. So one of the major rules which I want to discuss here is 2016 rule. So anybody has an idea about what was the major part which was introduced in the 2016 plastic waste management rules? This is about so under the Section 3 of the Environment Protection Act, plastic waste management rules has been introduced. And now the concept which has been increased by it, apart from putting a ban on the plastic bag that it should be limited to 50 micron, one of the important factor which was introduced was extended producer responsibility. So extended producer responsibility means the producers not only has the duty to has a duty till the end of the till the end of the product shelf life. This means he has a duty not only to recycle that product, he also has a duty to put that recycled product to the next use of the product. So for example, if I'm buying the chips cup packet and the Lay's companies are there, they have the manufacturer and they're producing the Lay's chips. So they have the responsibilities also to collect those Lay's cut chips and bring it back to the place and recycle it thing. Similarly, the Coca-Cola cans, if I'm buying, the Coca-Cola cans company has a responsibility, extended producer responsibility, to collect those products, used products, bring it back, recycle it, and you try to use that recycled product in the next consumption. So this is how the extended producer responsibility was there. Now, one of the, as I discussed in the beginning, is that apart from the production process, the disposal of the plastic is also one of the major important chunk. And as I discussed that, it formed the major portion of the carbon budget, as 13 to 14% of the carbon budget. In achieving a target of limiting the carbon global temperature to 2 to 1.5 degrees Celsius, we need to work upon reducing the plastic waste, to working upon the plastic waste management also. Now in this 2016, when the plastic waste management rules comes up, uh, there was also government come up with also notification, which was a environment related to plastic waste management notification. And in this case, there were 2 3 different kind of responsibility which has been given to the different bodies here. First was the producer, that they have the responsibility to collect all their products, used product, recycle and reuses. Another kind of duty they have got was, if they are not able to collect those products, they have to buy EPR certificates. Basic EPR certificate, basically if the somebody's had overachieved their target, then you can buy those certificates from this thing. And also related to multi-layer and multi-use materials, so that because these are non-cyclable, so you have to work upon the end of the proper disposable once the end of the product has been done, use of the end product has been done. Now in this rules, there was some suggestion which has been discussed upon that. When you're talking about extended producer responsibility, it means you're giving a responsibility to the producer. But if you're aware that in the old days, 90s, 2000 old days, you have seen the rack pickers. Rack pickers or the kabadi wala, he used to come to your place and collecting these plastics things, right? So this is a good initiative, of course, but there is a suggestion that how this plastic waste management can be done in a better way. And if you can recollect that majority of the plastic waste management is done by the informal sector. And when we talk about informal sector, there are 3 type of people, like a few kind of people. One is the rack pickers, who will go to the carrying the bories and traveling across the different places, dump yard, and collecting the plastic bottles and everything. Or the scrap dealers, you remember that. These scrap dealers are also the important factor here. And then there were people who were recycler. They used to give this all product to the recycler, and they used to this thing. So all these economy, this is also kind of economy, right? It's part of a circular economy, but it was an informal economy. Now with the plastic waste management, we have giving an extended duty to the producer here to collect, not just to produce and repack, but to collect and recycle also. Now we will discuss here that how can be do in a better manner. Now you talk about rack pickers and scrap dealers. When you talk about the informal sector economy, they don't have no social security, they don't have any protective gears, they don't have a minimum wages, right? Their job is highly fluctuating. Their economy, their job is more dependent upon amount of waste they are collecting. So these kind of things may similarly with the scrap dealers also, the most waste you are generating, the most good for them. So if you go to the power plant or some industrial area, these scrap dealers are more interested to get a lot of waste from these industries, for the reason that the more they'll get the money. So, and that time, in this kind of informal sector, which is economy, which is working, there is a parallel scenario which is happening, which is like lace ka thing. Now lace people, they have a cost. Suppose the cost of the chips is 10 or 15 rupees. They are already bearing cost of producing the chips and repackaging the chips, right? Now, if you're giving the extended responsibility to collect the chips packet and to recycle this thing, it will also involve the cost as well. So through this mechanism, you have created a parallel system, economic system. Now, earlier this was done by the informal sector. But instead of creating this informal sector, what you could have done is that gearing up the informal sector with a better social security, better skill development, better job opportunities, so that they could have done this job better, or they could have integrated these rack picker scrap that informal sector people to this job of extended producer responsibility, to integrate these kind of informal sector people to this kind of new parallel system they have created. So this is how the plastic waste management could have been in 2006 could have been done in a better manner, because we also have to think about the number of that, plastic waste management, the production there is a lot of stakeholder involved. It's just not we as an end producer of the consumer of the product. There is a producer also who has to bear a lot of cost, and if they have to bear a lot of cost in extended producer responsibility, it's not going to be economic viable for them also. And similarly, the informal sector people whose economy is dependent on them, how you're going to, it is affecting their employment opportunity also. So that is why, sometimes when discussing all these things, plastic waste management, this is one of the suggestion which I've come across, that we could have done it in a more better manner by involving all the stakeholder, or by introducing this kind of informal system to the new parallel system which we have developed through extended producer responsibility. Single use plastics in 2022. Now, when you talk about single use plastics, there is a pictures of all the single use plastic which is there: earbuds, ice cream sticks, plastic stick, balloons, thermal decoration, candy stick. I am sure you all of you are using this kind of single use plastics also. Now, when we talk about specific single use plastics, here also government has only banned like 19 category of single use plastic as per the plastic waste management amendment rules. Now my question is, we are coming with a lot of amendment, and we are coming with a lot of banning these activities. We are imposing the fine if we found somebody to be of this like. But my question is that tomorrow, if again I'm going to the shop, tomorrow again I'm going to the milkman shop, I'll buy the plastic a milk packet only. Or if I'm going to the ordering from Zomato, I will not ask the bhaiya ki bhaiya give me that, send me the dabba and use don't send me in the plastic buckets. They will send the plastic in and I'll use that only. Why? Why we are doing so? So, malab, that is my question, that if I'm delivering the lecture on the tackling plastic pollution, I'm also going to do the same. So when I was thinking about discussing on why the UN has kept this topic, I was thinking that, okay, I'm also following the same practice. So where is the changes which is required? And I was discussing few points that how many of you people has really gone to the, we have seen a lot of times the social media, YouTube mein, some people carry their own dabba in the restaurant also. This practice is there. Sometimes I carry my own my own water bottle all the time instead of ordering from them thing. But how many people are actually using these things? Mass, all the audience, all the 150 crore population, they have a lot of issues to deal with this thing. From basic survival issues to earning the basic income is the survival issue. So in this, you cannot expect them that please don't use the plastics, please don't use the polythene, because the survival issue is based on something else. Now in this context, we need to work upon that, why we are not able to deal, despite this coming up the lot of regulations like 2016 2020, why we are not even to work upon the 1/4 part of the plastic regulation, or why we are not able to manage this use of plastic to 1/4 of the level. Any point you have in your mind regarding the what are the kind of impediment you have been facing at individual level? Any scenario? घर पे हम जैसे क्या problems होता है, like segregating the waste to like going to the shopping. So what kind of impediment do you face? Jyoti ma'am, Divya, would you like to suggest share your opinion on that? It's fine. So, for example, when I'm buying a chips packet or buying a milk packet, I will think upon that, okay, if I want, if you've seen that the older times, we used to carry up, our parents used to carry a dabba with them, steel ka dabba or plastic bottle with them to get to the food shop and buying the milk, right? Now the present times, we have a fast running economy of work. So everybody has a busy life, we want everything in the zip of like a Blinkit and Zepto. This kind of the life we are living, the consumers culture we are living. If I want to go and buy the chips, I will not ask that I'm giving you my dibba and give me the chips. Or if I wanted to buy some milk, like, just give me a milk packet. It could be Tetra milk packet, or it could be just one time use milk packet. So my question is that why we are not able to eliminate the plastic from across our life, or why we become so much dependent on the plastic. So the few of the reason which I was discussing with my friends, and then I come to the discussion that we don't have a lot of alternative possible, right? If you go to the milk shop, what are the number of alternative do you actually see? And if those alternatives, are it really economically viable? So earbuds, for example, easily available, ice cream sticks, balloons, and easily available. How is it like possible? Or if you're going to, buying the milk shop or some kind of juice, some juice your packet you're buying, you will end up buying this product only. Do you have any alternate solution if you want to go for alternative to that? Do you have any alternative solution for that thing which you would prefer? No, because
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's this alternate brass products, but again, they are not economically feasible. They're very expensive.
Yeah.
Using plastic is economically feasible, it is easy, and yeah, it is convenient actually.
Yeah, so that is why it is not, the alternatives is not viable, they are not economically viable in a lot of senses, like, it's not been, even if some 8 section of the people might be able to afford this thing, but the common mass, they cannot afford this thing, right? So even the people, if suppose if sabzi wala is going there, and if you to the grocery shop, you go to the daily, the which is next to your house, and if you ask them, like, Bhaiya, don't give me the plastics. Bhaiya will say, I'll not give you the plastic bag. The consumer will not say, okay, Bhaiya, it's a good habit that you're keeping this thing. Next day, say, he'll stop coming to that shop itself. So that's why they have to give this thing, because then he say, okay, if you're saying, do not give me the plastic, give me some other bags. And if he say, okay, I will not give him the plastic, I will give you some better bags. Who will bear the cost of these things? Of course, consumer is not going to buy this. It will cost on the grocery shop or sabzi wala. And why I will do that? So that is the reason we don't have economically viable option alternative. We don't have alternatives to available to this thing. Similarly, and another thing is that plastics, it has evolved a lot over the period of time, that it has entered into the each and every arena of our life. It has the ability to not, creating a kind of materials that helps the food to not get spoiled. So if the plastic is opting for such a different kind of evolutionary characters, then why would I not go for those things? So for example, Tetra Pak milk, if you're aware of, Amul ka hota hai, this Tetra Pak milk, where you can keep the milk without warming for long. If these kind of option which I'm getting, and all the juice packets, bottles and everything, if I'm getting this kind of content of the material without getting spoiled for more number of days, then why would, and I don't have any alternative available, then why would not I opt for that thing? Because it's not a one time use of plastic, right? It's a day to day part of the economy. So I want something quick in hand to use those alternative. Similarly, like, what is a widespread use of this thing also? When you go to the plastic shops, just if you've seen that some shops are there which where the single use plastics are there, paper plates are there, straw packages, everything is there. It's so cheaply available, because as how the economic of scale is working, as economics, may you see, whatever, it's easy and cheap to produce the things in a bulk rather than producing the few entities in a small number. So when the global level massive production is happening, of course the cost is in low amount. So why would not I pay for those plastic paper bags or plastic bottles, or use and carry dabbas which I carry for my traveling or for Zomato order? Why would I not use that? So that global scale is also oriented toward massive production of this thing. And again, the main important factor is infrastructure. Waste infrastructure is essential for managing disposable. So not just about land which we have, which is limited in shortage, how we are burning how we are processing or burning that waste is also such important. Now, in this context, I wanted to discuss about the few case studies and as to how at the Swachh Bharat Sarvekshan, they have come up with the case study and how they have tackled with the pollution in the state level. So I will share it here that yeah. Is it visible? This case study, Sikkim first state to ban plastics. Uh, this page is visible to all of you. Sikkim first state to ban plastic bottles. Divya,
No, I can just see the PPT.
PPT is visible now.
okay, just a second. This thing, okay.
Yes, now it is visible. Yeah.
So this thing I've got from the Swachh Bharat Sarvekshan survey, and in this, they have this is a last year data, and they have collected data across the effort they have taken in plastic waste generation, the role of CPCB and different bodies which is involved in controlling the pollution, and they have also come up with a good of case studies. So this is from the Swachh Bharat Sarvekshan urban website. So this is just a brief introduction of the type of plastics which is available in the market, which is available across the country, and different number of rules which was there. I will I will try to draw your attention here to the few of the case studies which you have done here. So it is about the Operation Blue Mountain is Nilgiri, where the collector has taken effort in unclogging the river sources and reducing the burden on the plastic which is happening in the Blue Mountain. Maharashtra ban on the plastics, and in this case that it has banned disposable produce manufactured plastic and thermocol, and it ban carries penalty starting from 5,000 to up to 25,000. So in how the government has played a major role in law and mechanism. So now some of the example where the flower vendors are sending flowers to people home in cloth bag, vegetable are being sold in clothes bag, women in self-groom are looking at making jute or cotton bags. So all these things are like they're trying to work at the local level. Similarly, there's some case study from the this international level pe Kenya ka punitive total ban. Antigua and Barbuda, these are the island countries. What is the effort they have taken in banning this use thing? Similarly, yeah. So plastic to toilet, one of the initiative that they have taken. That plastic to toilet me the kind of kind of use they want to take made by generating the bricks from the plastics. So toilet blocks made of plastic waste. This is what the effect. And also a lot of technologies right now are working to reduce the bricks from the plastics. So this is a kind of effort every year with the Swachh Bharat Sarvekshan do, and they put it in on their website. It's available for every year. Again, Hyderabad use of plastic pavement block. So this is one example from the GHMC and Hyderabad based startups. Then they have worked upon developing a plastic pavement block. So there are a number of examples that parks and everything which is going. This is like, I will share this PDF with all of you, but I just wanted to give you the glimpse that there are very good case study in which every country is working. Like Sikkim has also started imposing a ban on the use of plastics. Different countries, Sikkim mein, Northeast mein, to control the tourism also and to regulate the unregulated, to regulate the tourism also. They have also come up with the regulation. So these are the different kind of case study which was there. One other is a conversion of PET bottle waste into textile product. So these are the different example which they have shown it here also. The used bottle co, they're bottle battling, and then they are sorting this bottle and they're going through different number of processes before coming it with the final end product. So this is an initiative that has been taken by a number of companies also. Now, when we talk about some plastic measures, mein, that okay, it India global level pay, for example, when you talk about extended producer responsibility, we have the example that even the company under the social corporate responsibility is a job. And of course, as I told you, that producer, they are the producer, they have the responsibility to focus on plastic neutrality. This means plastic neutrality means amount of plastic produced they are sending into the market, equal amount should be get recycled. So it doesn't matter they are going to get find those Lay's chips, but because they are simply have to bring that same amount of recycled product whichever available in the market. And under the corporate social responsibility, under the environmental awareness, these lot of companies are also working. And one of the example which I can give right now is the Hindustan Unilever company. What they're doing right now is they're focusing on plastic neutrality. In the plastic neutrality, what they do is that they try to recycle the waste material which is there in association with a lot of NGOs which is working in those areas, organization which is working in those areas to help. And these organization are helping them to connect with the housing societies or commercial establishment. For example, if I have if there is an institute, university is there, of course it will going to generate a lot of stationery product, plastic product, canteen material from the canteen, right? So in this level, what the Unilever has, Hindustan Unilever has done that through number of organizations like like Sahas, Carpe, Plastic Saver. These are the organization which is basically working for the reducing the plastic use. So they are collaborating with these organization, and these organization is helping them at individual level to connect with different housing society and commercial establishment to focus on circular economy. So when we'll connect with the these different kind of in housing societies, commercial establishment, or all the gated community people, so what will actually happen that the waste that is generated from this thing through the help of this organization, Hindustan United Lever has a bigger access to manpower, resource, and skill development. So how they will focus on plastic neutrality by reusing this produce. So that is the kind of ecosystem there number of companies are trying to develop. Another example which I will try to give is the case of Indore case studies. So if you're aware that Indore is one of the cleanest cities of India, right? Now, when you go to the Indore, there is always a criteria, there is a thing that the kachra wala will not take your dump until unless you will put the dry waste and the wet waste in a separate category, right? And the dry waste, maybe also the person will came and check, and if the things are not according to the rules, he will impose fine. Now, do you really think so? It will not have faced the administration or the Indore administration when they try to work on this thing. It will not have faced impediment of any kind. Of course, it would have done. But now, after a few years, the changes has happened so much among the behavior of the people. Now, if the administration will not do their proper job properly, it is the people who will going raise their voice against the administration. So how this behavioral change is happening? This is all started at the individual level, because when the individual level, there are when you talk about when you go to the home and when you talk about putting that everything in the dustbin, we end up putting all these things in a dustbin, one dustbin. It was a wet the wet garbage, or it is a dry packet. But we never think about segregating this thing. But these kind of effort, so there was already a number of laws were there, right? But why these laws were not happening? All this because there was a lack of implementation of behavioral change required from the people. So there is a line which has been said when it's got in the context of implementing any social issue, that law will not bring any effective change until and unless it will come with the change in the behavior of the people, or it can be shown from the behavior of the people to will of the people to work on those changes or work on those law. So similarly is that there is a lot of plastic waste management rules as there, single-use plastic ban is there, but administration in the Indore, when they try to work upon this through putting the penalty and everything, what was the root cause on which they have worked? The root cause on which they worked was behavioral change. So it might have come through a very characteristic policy or like thoda with a lot of some penalties. But yes, in a longer run, it has come with the behavioral change of people. And that is what the collective action example is all about. That at the collective action through the support of administration, bureaucrats, political parties, the political party which is ruling in the particular state, and the role of the people, the common mass, how it can work on a collective measure level to tackle the use of plastic. Now, now another case studies, there are a lot of startups also which is working, like Kabadi Wala Connect example. So they are trying to connect, they are working on the collective mechanism. So one of the example, if you as a common maze is also face that if I am suppose living in an apartment and I as a common man feel that, okay, I have segregated all my plastic paper bags separately. I have segregated all this plastic water bottles separately. But where I'm going to put all those things? Because if I'm one of the person living in the society of 100 peoples, not that if there is a no proper aggregator or the collector of the waste, then how would I know that there is a proper channeling agency to work on this thing, right? So for that, there is that is a need which has been recognized by a lot of startup, that the problem is not just about disposing this thing. They also wanted to act as a mobilizer to connect the waste generator, which is at individual level, to the party which is disposing all these things. And in this, there are a lot of startups which is also working. They are not trying to bring any new changes here. They're trying not to bring any new law here. They are basically working on collection mechanism. So they are trying to make a change that, okay, if I am a person has a lot of plastic is my disposable, but I do not know where to dump that. So next day, instead of storing this, all those things in a limited space of my house, I would prefer to dispose this in a dustbin. But here, if there are a lot of technology, a lot of startup which is working on the collective mechanism, and they are helping is to, like for example, the Kabadi Wala Connect, I give you the example. These are working on to help them collect all these waste and send it to the recycling company. So here the basically the mobilizer here is the waste collector, and this kind of ecosystem they are trying to galvanize here. And so that is how the importance, and that is how they're trying to work is. And again, waste collector job has been done, but again, the role comes here is the role of us as a segregator. So the individual level, importance of segregating waste in the household is such a very important factor. So all things that if you're not segregating these things, if you're not, again, the person has to go through segregating all those into different patches. And again, it will increase the cost for that person. So it will not be very incentivizing for him also in the terms of economy, also in terms of workload also. So that is why it's come back again to us at individual level that yes, importance of segregating in the house itself is very important. So this is what the thing is, that when we talk about tackling the plastic pollution, as I discussed in the beginning, that it's not a one-time solution. It's a journey. And as the globalization as the consumerist culture is changing, with the globalization, the kind of market economy we are living in, the kind of food style which we have, kind of lifestyle we are adapting in terms of fashion, medical health, and everything, banning the plastic is never a solution because it has entered to all of the life of a human being. But what is required is that how we are observing this journey, what are the changes that we have, and we need to rethink upon the use of the plastics, the use which we are doing at the day-to-day level. So this is what about action is, that protecting biodiversity again becomes secondary. What we are doing at the individual level is something which is more important. So, when you talks about that, some effort has been taken at national level, global level, international level, state level, but never we try to find out that what is the action which has been taken at individual level. So it's just like, we cannot control the number of rape cases which is happening across the country, or we cannot control that rape cases which is happening in the state level. But what we can actually control is the number of, how the how the upbringing of the kid is happening at your place, what he's learning from his parents. So similarly, when we talk about social issue, the other kind of issue, environmental issue, work in the same way. How much the effort which we're doing at the individual level, at the at the individual level, at the family level, at the grassroots level, or it could be at the rural level also. This is what actually makes, this is actually what brings a change in any kind of practices, or this is the small effort try to help bring any bigger change in the life. So there is a line है ना, बूंद बूंद से घड़ा भरता है, बूंद बूंद. So that is how the things, ki small steps, although it seems like a why very impossible track, that why only I'm supposed to do, but that's how the behavioral change happening, that if I'll go to an, if I'll go and do these things, my other friend will also see this thing, and next time he will follow the same thing. So that's what the things change happen is that nowadays, because if I go to the shop, if there is a plastic bottles they offer it to shop. So what I actually do is I ask them to give me a filter water. And sometimes, the business restaurant also have the policy that, ma'am, we don't give you the filter water, we don't have the policy, you have to mandatory buy this thing. Now, because we are the people from the technical background, then it would be difficult. But what we people don't realize that law people, they know the law better manner. So there is a consumer guidelines which is clearly mentioned that the restaurant people cannot refuse you to give the clear filter water from in that. So it is not mandatory to buy this plastic bottle. And that's what the incident happened with me last week, when they're imposing me that, ma'am, you have to buy this 100 rupees cup bottle only from the shop, otherwise you will not get a water. So I then asked that, please bring the manager here. And then the manager went try to engage in conversation, trying to show that, okay, this is the policies. Then I argued on the what is the law actually is. And next moment, what he actually did is he actually bring the filter water with me. And this seems like a very small step, but what actually happening is that this is what the awareness is not there. So what we as a law student we as a law people can do is that work more on awareness part, work more on educating the people at the local level or the district level also, that that this is what the changes is required. There is already a lot of policies, already a lot of rules are there with respect to the government approach, but what we are really required is to bring a connect between the what is the common mass and the government people. And here we as a law people can play a major role in educating those people also. We at the individual level can also play a major role in bringing the day-to-day changes also. So this is what the action is, that collective action to tackle the challenge. And I would say that the collective action begins from the home itself. And what is home? It's like how I'm doing my life day, how I'm taking the steps at an individual level. So this is my, like, I took a lot of time although, but this is what my discussion was. I would not say it was a series of lecture on water, plastic waste management, everything, because I realized that the purpose of discussion should not always be about sharing a lecture and then it get uploaded on the YouTube and it's just become a part of the documents and everything. But it should be based on what the real life challenges which we are facing. So that is the reason that I showed you a lot of clips from the YouTubes and pictures, for the reason that environment is nothing something like it's exist in some kind of space or outer space, which we only can see when we open the YouTube channel or when we open the Netflix. It is something which is surrounded by the environment all around. And that's why I also ask my students also, and that you cannot understand the environment till the time you feel that environment, till the time you will connect with the environment. So that is what my reason for taking this as a PhD topic in biodiversity related to this thing is that environment law is not something you can read only through the books or through understanding the law. It is about observing the changes which is happening across you, observing the behavior of the people, behavior of the people regarding this protecting the climate, use of plastic. It is about the behavior of the you as an individual, that how you are contributing. So that is why I try to bring it in a more discussion form and try to bring more common practices instead of just going through the what is already there in the books or articles and everything. So this is what I can just sum up in short notice of 1 hour, like 24 hours. So that's it. I will wind up here.
No, ma'am. It was very insightful lecture. Thank you so much. Thank you for your precious suggestions. I would say we will definitely follow this. Now I request Hetan to go for vote of thanks. Hetan, you're there.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that incredibly informative and thought-provoking session. On behalf of Bharatiya Vidyapeeth, Deemed to be University, New Law College, Pune, and our esteemed Dean and IC Principal, Dr. Ujjwala Bindale, ma'am, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our guest speaker, Mrs. Renu Khusharam, ma'am, for taking the time to be with us and today sharing such impactful insights on the issue of plastic pollution and devastating consequences on biodiversity. Before we move ahead, I would like to take a moment to extend our deep gratitude to our principal and dean, Dr. Ujjwala Bindale ma'am, whose continuous support and vision has always driven us such thoughtful and impactful academic initiatives. We also thankful to our vice principal, Dr. Jyoti Dharma ma'am, IQAC coordinator, Dr. Vidya Dhere ma'am, for their unwavering encouragement and involvement in all the environment-centric efforts for our college. A special thank you to our environment cell for organizing this meaningful session and to all the attendees for your presence and active participation. Let's remember, saving the environment doesn't require a grand gesture. It just begin with a small change, like saying no to a single-use of plastic. Let this day be a reminder to us that the earth is all we have in common, and it's our responsibility to protect it. Thank you and have a green and responsible World Environment Day, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Hetal. Thank you so much. Thank you, Renu ma'am.
Thank you, Jashna.
And all the
Thank you,
participants.
Divya.
Thank you so much.